off my own little vlogging segment called Samurai Speaks Out. It's going to be strictly about games and comics and things that interest me on the overhaul. For this episode, it's going to be episode 1, Dark Souls, The Walking Dead comics, and coming attractions. Basically, we'll start with target point number 1. With Dark Souls, I've heard a lot of people ask, will there be a Dark Souls 4? I mean, personally, in my honest opinion, this is strictly me speaking. I don't want there to be a Dark Souls 4 because I mean the series on its own is amazing from like Demon Souls, and then Dark Souls, which is pretty much the spiritual successor to Demon Souls, and then you got like Dark Souls 2 and then Dark Souls 3. I mean, all of these games on the overall, they're amazing titles. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I would rather them do it like this. Get to Dark Souls 3, finish the 2 DLCs, then go to Bloodborne 2, then do Bloodborne 2 DLCs, then Bloodborne 3 DLCs. Then, if we're gonna go do another Dark Souls, I would like it to be Dark Souls 4, the DLCs, Bloodborne 4, the DLCs. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I feel Bloodborne in general is an amazing IP because it's like it has a lot to offer, and the fact of the matter is that's so much untapped potential from software could be they could literally mine that series like a gold mine. People will eat it up. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think that would be the best way to go about it. Or do what they did with Demon Souls or Dark Souls, make a spiritual successor to the Soul series, but do that after you do the Bloodborne titles and stuff. Then we'll have a whole nother like gravy train to ride upon. I mean, that's just how I see it. Plus, it's like I feel rather than just riding the Dark Souls train until it gets bland and boring, because I aced all the Dark Souls titles, and Demon Souls and Bloodborne. You can check my trophy count if you don't believe me. PSN AlbaMeira. No numbers, no letters, no nothing. There you go. Okay, now that we're finished talking about Dark Souls, I mean, let's see. Let's go to target point number 2. The Walking Dead comic. I'm going to specifically be talking about the Walking Dead comic, not the TV series, because for me, the comic is the current hype point. As and when I get into anything comic book related, I always go to the direct end point of the series and I read from there on onwards. It's kind of a hipster thing with me. But yeah, with the Whisperer War, I feel that arc to me after All Out War, which was pretty much the entire high point in the series, the Whisperer War is kind of like that series you get after the high point, but it's still good enough to read. Um, Now with me, my personal predictions is, I mean, even though this is kind of a no shit Sherlock moment, I personally feel Beta, the character, I feel he's gonna die at the end of the war. Well, that's a given. I hope he does not take out Negan, because for me, Negan is like everybody who watches the Walking Dead TV series version of Daryl. Like Negan is the cash cow, the main attraction, the guy you specifically watch this stuff for. So yeah, if they kill off Negan, this is my personal opinion regarding his character. I want them to do it after his whole here's Negan's backstory, arc, all of that's done and over with. Because hey, at least we'll know all about him before they decide to get rid of him, rather than like getting rid of him in the midway point and then drawing a lot of fans' ire and stuff. Okay, now personally, who I do not have surviving this war, y'all gonna hate me for this, but Rick Grimes. I love Rick Grimes' character, but at the point now, he has a broken leg. I mean, he's literally on the back lines issuing orders to the people on the front. So, yeah, I kind of don't want Rick to die, but I have a feeling they probably are going to get him. Or, see, I don't want Maggie to die at all, but I done seen that December cover, and things ain't looking too pretty on the front cover. Now, what can happen is somebody could try to attack Maggie, and then as a result, Maggie will just end up, fucking them up. Because let's face it, without Glenn, Maggie ain't got nothing to lose. Let's see. I know they're not gonna get rid of Carl, because let's be honest here, comic book Carl Grimes, he is a fucking badass. Love his character to death. Um, I hope they don't do nothing to Jesus either, because as far as all the Walking Dead characters are concerned, even me being a Negan fan, I will tell it to you outright. Jesus is probably the most badass fighter on that comic book set. Cause like he even fought Negan, and then like Negan got his ass whooped by Jesus. Jesus just straight told him, "Your soldiers suck," and like so do you. So I'm sitting here like laughing. Let's see. Besides that, here's another thing with me with Dwight's character. At first, I thought Dwight was just gonna be like taken out quick and easy. Nah, this recent issue blew my mind away. Dwight is such a badass character. Uh, I mean, you have to keep in mind he's kind of like the comic books version of Daryl, since Daryl isn't actually in the comic books. So yeah. Um, Other than that, I still wanna. I still feel like the Whisper War is something that I will read and continue to read from here on out. And I kind of want to see where The Walking Dead takes the series beyond that. But yeah, now let's go to target point three. Anything personally I'm looking forward to? Well, one is the video game Neo. Neo is like Ninja Gaiden plus Dark Souls merged together in a blender with a little bit of Onimusha on the side for like extra garnish. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the new Underworld movie. For like a lot of my Facebook friends, they pretty much consider Underworld to be kind of like blat and done with. But the thing with me is, I love Underworld. I will eat those movies up to death. They're definitely one of my favorite movies series to talk about and just overall like check out. But yeah, for the things I'm looking forward to is specifically those two games that I think already out that I want to eventually pick up. Dragon Quest Builders will be one. I mean, because it's kind of for me. I mean, don't take this wrong, Minecraft fans, but I kind of like Dragon Quest Builder a little bit more, even though they kind of stole that same engine. It's just that because the graphics are a little bit more shined up, and I kind of like that. But yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to get across for the first episode. I'm gonna try to target these segments once every week. I'm gonna at least try to get 3 different things to talk about. But other than that, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns from the audience, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll gladly talk about them on the air on the next episode. But with that being said, this is Samurai over and out. Later.